Living in Japan is like a dream for many people, including me. Places of incredible scenery, beautiful customs, and cutting-edge modern lifestyle. But is it the right place for you? I got you! Hi everyone! Welcome back to my YouTube channel and Happy New Year! I hope you're excited for 2025 and ready to make it an amazing year. So if you're new to my channel, hi! My name is Pop and I'm currently in my first year studying in university in Japan. Back in 22, I used to came here as an exchange student for around like 10 months, and since then, Japan has made me decided to come back and continue studying here as a university student. Now, after living here in Japan for almost 2 years, you guys might wonder, what living in Japan has been like? So I'm going to give you a glimpse of what is really like living in Japan, and if you're ready, let's go! So the first thing I'm going to talk about is about culture. Did you know that each region in Japan has their own unique culture and norms? Take my experience for instance. I used to live in Nagoya City where living pace is much slower with more calm vibes, comparing to Tokyo, where everything is so extremely fast that you can miss the train in just a second. Even though I used to live in Japan, moving into another region still takes me some time to get used to it. So before you move to Japan, be specific of where you're going and learn the cultural beforehand. Now, you're watching this because you wanted to move here, right? If the reason you wanted to relocate is because you've visited before, hold your passport. When you're living here as a resident, it also means that you're ready to adjust to the culture here also. When you come here for traveling, you might know a little bit of Japanese customs like saying itadakimasu before the meal or saying gojisou-sama deshita after the meal. But living here might require you more than that. For example, you need to be punctual. So here in Japan, Japanese people really value the time. They see time as a promise, which means if you don't come on time, it's basically also breaking a promise with others. I mean, you get it right, no one likes who doesn't keep promise. So another cultural differences is the public behavior. For example, eating while walking or talking on the train, which might be normal in your country, are considered rude here. And if you don't want to be a foreigner every Japanese is staring at, I recommend you to study Japanese etiquette and Japanese public manner before coming to Japan. Trust me, this will make your life in Japan so much easier. So next thing is about the language. Before coming here for an exchange year, I've learned Japanese for around 1 to 2 years. So basically I could read a little bit of basic kanjis, hiragana, katakana, and also like a little bit of communication Japanese. At the very beginning of my exchange year, even though I didn't make an effort to study Japanese at all, still many people would come up to me to talk, to practice their English. But as time went on, I realized that I haven't made much friends because I speak very little Japanese. And after realizing that, I was desperate. I would come home often crying because I didn't have any friends at all. But not until I joined the sports club. There I've met many people who is willing to build a genuine relationship with me despite my broken Japanese. They're incredible. They would always try to translate what others is talking, and they would come up to me and just me Japanese slangs all the time. Despite the tough time I had in the beginning of my exchange year, after spending 4 months living here in Japan, my Japanese skills improved drastically and I've made so much more friends since then. Now back to the present. Even now I'm studying at a international university in Japan where many Japanese could speak English very fluently. Still, I find them preferring to make friends with foreigners who could speak Japanese more than who cannot. You know what? Language is not only crucial in making friends here, but also living here. As you've known that many Japanese people could barely speak English, living here can be challenging, especially when you have to do everything by yourself. For example, finding houses, doing official paperwork, or contacting the gas company will be much easier if you know Japanese. So the key takeaway here is simple. If you want to live in Japan, study Japanese. So you might wonder, how should I do it? How should I start learning Japanese? So for me, if I have to start again, I would do this. Start from what you enjoy. Have you ever heard you could learn faster if you made the process fun? You know what? It's 100% true. Back in the days, I used to study on an exam sheet, writing, and practice the same thing every day. Do the test and then forget. But nowadays, I learn Japanese through my favorite things. For example, myself, I like Japanese music. I would start by listening to my favorite band, and with consistently reading the lyrics, I'll naturally remember kanji and catch some vocabs from the lyrics. Next is consistency and repetition. Remembering hiragana, katakana, kanji can be boring if you have to do everything repeating and repeating again, right? But you know what? There's no other ways. Spending a little bit of time and effort on it, maybe 10 to 15 minutes per day, will help you remember it more easily. And the last one is don't rush. I know that you want to improve fast, but don't rush that you don't see the fun of it. So if you're a beginner, I recommend you by starting from like a really easy, maybe by some Minna no Nihongo or Genki, or watching kids cartoon like Anpan Man. Watching it with subtitle will practice on your reading. Then without the software listening, then do imitation, repeating what they're saying to get the tones and correct pronunciation, and then repeat it. I understand that learning new languages might be tough sometimes at the beginning, but if you make the process more fun and consistency, it is a rewarding journey. And remember, this is not only learning the languages, but also to fully connect to the people and the country. Next part is about cost of living. So one of the most common questions I've received after moving here to Japan is, how much do you spend per month living in Japan? So now I'm living in the heart of Japan, Tokyo. I've spent around 120k per month, or around $760 per month as for the basics. So from the graph, one of the main expenses are my apartment. My big expense is around 78k on apartment, and followed by my utilities for around 6,000 yen. And for transportation, it might vary according to your school and your houses. But for me, I've spent around like 10k on my transportation fee. And let me go down a little bit details on this. Per month, I've spent around 5k on going to school. Wait, why is it so cheap? It's because of the commuter pass. This because the commuter pass, it is a transportation ticket which allows you to travel between the specific stations with unlimited times, and you can get half of the price with a gakuwari. But here's the thing, if you wanted to apply for the gakuwari, which can be translated to a student discount, you need your student ID with the name of your house station and school station written on the back. So basically, you can apply for gakuwari from your house station to the school station. And don't forget to check the purchase method, because some of the train lines might require you to book a reservation of making cards before coming to get the cards itself at the station. And next is for groceries. I spend only around like 10k per month on it. Save money. Sometimes I lived on a frozen foods, and if I want to eat out, I would go to a cheap restaurant. Another method is you can save money by cooking at home, buying groceries from a local store, which will cost you half of the price of the supermarket. But if you want to eat out, I recommend going to Saizeria, Tsukiya, and Matsuya. And these restaurants are a cheap fast food chain in Japan where you can find it anywhere. And I think like around one meal, it will cost you only around to 400 to 500 yen. And the rest of the money goes to the insurance fee, telephone fee, shopping fee, traveling fee, blah blah blah. Okay, that's it for today. I hope this video gives you a better vision of what is really like living in Japan, whether you're finding if Japan is the right place for you or not, or just curious of what living here is like. But for me, living in Japan is one of a kind. It's like a combination of challenging and rewarding sometimes. And if you have any questions about living in Japan, drop down in the comments and I'll try to answer every question that you have. And if you enjoyed this videos, please like, subscribe, and push on the notifications button. And I'll see you in the next videos. Bye bye!